In this video, I'll share with you the steps I took to replace this bedroom light with this fan light combo. I'll also share with you 5 tips to help simplify your installation. The products I'm using in this video are the Hunter Channing ceiling fan, a ceiling fan brace and box for mounting, and the Hunter ceiling fan remote wall control. I purchased the fan at the local big box store, but I'll leave a link to the other 2 items in the description below. As usual, turn the power off first, and then test the light to make sure the power is off. Okay, now that the power is off, the first step is going to be to disassemble the existing light fixture and remove it. When removing the wire nuts, I recommend placing them back on the wires in the ceiling. This serves 2 purposes. 1, keeps track of them when you go to use them again, and 2, it keeps the wire protected in the event that the electricity is turned back on. Here's a tip to help you find where this box is when you're in the attic. I'm prying open the locking tab in the box, and then I'm going to take a 2 to 3 foot dowel and shove up there through the insulation so I can locate it when I'm in the attic. And you'll see that when we get up in the attic. Because the ceiling fan is quite a bit heavier than a normal light fixture, local code requires that you get a heavier box and brace which will hold it. If you don't have access to your attic, you can insert this brace through the opening and then install it that way. Using a drill, I'm going to expand this to about the size that I'll be needing in the attic. If your attic contains fiberglass insulation, I highly recommend wearing full-length clothing and gloves. And wear a mask and glasses to prevent the fibers from getting into your lungs and in your eyes. Because the drywall can't support your weight, you need to make sure that you are stepping just on the trusses. I recommend turning your feet slightly sideways to reduce the chance of them slipping off. With all this said, if this is making you nervous or you don't have a good sense of balance, I recommend that you don't do this job and just hire a professional for it. And here you can see why I shoved that dowel up there, because without that dowel I'd be searching all over the place trying to find this box. The dowel didn't actually penetrate the upper piece of insulation, but because it's raised I could tell where it was at. You can see here that I put a piece of 2x12 in place to stand on while I'm working on it. I wouldn't use a board that's any less than 2 inches thick and any narrower than 8 inches wide. I also recommend that you have a board that's long enough so that you have at least 6 inches overlapping the truss on each end. Care needs to be taken when moving around on this board so that you don't move the board off the truss. First, I have to remove this old box and then remove the wire from the box. Now you're going to put the support brace into place by centering it over the hole. The feet on each end are to guide the height for the box into the hole. Therefore, when installing, just set the feet onto the drywall. With the brace centered over the hole, twist the larger end of the brace and tighten it against the truss. In this close-up here, you can see the pins that hold the brace against the truss. You need to tighten it to make sure that those are fully embedded into the truss. Just turn the brace until you can't turn it anymore. Now I'm adding the box bracket onto the brace. Then I'll go back down below and trim the hole a little larger so the box will fit into it. I would have trimmed the hole from above, but I forgot to bring my knife with me. To enlarge the hole, I'll first hold the box up there and use it as a template for what size it should be. Because there isn't much that I have to cut off, I'll just use a utility knife. But if there was a lot more to cut off, I'd probably be using a drywall jab saw. With the box now in position, you can use the screws and tighten it against the brackets. Don't forget to use the Romex clamp when pushing the Romex wire back into the box. Next, you need to clamp the ground wire to the box with using the green ground screw. Now, using the provided screws, install the bracket for hanging the fan. When threading the wires in through the extension pipe, ensure that all the wires are on the same side of the pin. This will ensure they don't get twisted while turning the pipe into the fan. Then turn the pipe into the fan until it's snug. For safety reasons, the instructions clearly state that you need to tighten the bolt securely with a wrench. First, cut the wires so they're 8 inches longer than the down rod, and then trim each wire. Make sure the canopy is in place prior to hanging the fan on the bracket. For the first wire connection, I'm going to take the 2 green wires from the fan and from the bracket and connect them to the bare copper ground wire from the box. My installation here is for a single light switch. If you have dual light switches, consult the fan installation manual for how to install it. After securing the wire nut, I give each wire in the connection a slight tug to make sure it's firmly in place. Next, I'm going to connect the white wire from the ceiling to the white wire on the fan. Now for the final connection, connect both black wires together. After all connections are completed, ensure that all the wires are pushed fully into the box and to the ceiling. With the 2 screws provided, secure the canopy into place. Now add the fan blades by snapping them securely onto the posts. Insert the light connector fully into the light fixture. When connecting the light fixture to the fan, align the notch in the fixture to the pin and the fan. With the pin and notch aligned, hold the fan above, push the light fixture up into the fan, and give it a turn clockwise. Now you can finish the assembly by inserting the lights and then adding the globe to the light fixture. Here I'll share with you my thoughts on whether to use the normal light switch plus your remote control or use the Hunter fan wall control in conjunction with your remote control. You can pause the video and read through these details if you'd like. With option 1, you'll have to reach for the remote each time you want to turn on the fan or change the speed, or use the remote to dim the lights. With option 2, you have all the functionality at the wall plate that you normally would have with the remote. Therefore, you have the ability to control both the fan and light when entering or leaving the room and while in bed. So if you chose option 1, you're done. Congratulations. Enjoy your new fan. If you chose option 2, keep watching. I'll show you how to install your new ceiling fan wall controller. Of course, the first step is to ensure the power is off. Now you're going to remove the wall plate cover and the switch itself. Use a screwdriver to remove the ground wire. And in my case, the regular wires are pushed into a push connector. I didn't have a screwdriver small enough to push into the release slot, so I just took a paper clip and stuck in there to release the wire. There are 3 connections you'll have to make. First, I'll connect the yellow and green ground wire to the bare copper wire. Now you have to figure out which wire is your hot wire coming into the box and connect that to the wire on your switch labeled VAC. There's a simple test you can do to see which wire is the hot wire. First, place the wire nuts back on the wires and turn the power back on. Next, you'll take a voltage tester like the one I have here and hold it up to each wire. The one that flashes red and beeps is the wire that has the power. This is the one you will connect to the line from your switch that says VAC. Be sure to remember to turn the power back off before proceeding. After verifying that the power is off, we can now proceed with connecting the remaining connections. Here we'll connect the wire we identified as the hot wire to the line that says VAC on the switch. Now we'll connect the last wire, which goes up to the fan itself. Now you can insert the batteries into the wall switch. Now push all the wires back into the box and secure the switch to the box. And finally, you can put the wall plate cover in place. With the installation completed, you now have to pair the wall controller to your fan. To do this, you'll turn the power back on, and within 3 minutes of turning the power back on, you'll have to hold the fan and the light button simultaneously until you hear a beep. With it paired, you can now use both the wall switch and your remote control to control your light and fan. This has been a DIY Saver production. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to see more of my content, hit the subscribe as well.